Supernatural Season 15, Episode 10, The Hero's Journey. So this is officially the halfway mark for the final season of Supernatural. If I'm not mistaken, when I looked it up, we had 20 episodes. It was definitely a funny one, for sure. Oddly enough, or unfortunately enough, I should really say, no main story content here. We did get a good funny episode. Garth even came back, so that was pretty cool. But it was definitely a full-on side episode. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny. And it was just entertaining to watch because it was like, man, all this weird stuff is happening. And as I was going through it, it was just like, wow, this is stuff you don't see, which, they kind of get into it. It's the hero's journey. You don't see the heroes dealing with normal everyday stuff. You don't see the heroes get sick or get tickets or trip or mess up, cooking food. So it was a funny episode, without a doubt. Like, everything they did just did not work. They couldn't even drive anywhere without the car breaking down, which was super funny. And it was just like, oh, that just doesn't happen. The ending was fantastic. Like, they're driving and the car's like stuttering and it's not even moving. And then it just like, they don't even end it the normal way. Like it closes in, like on a circle. Or no, that wasn't at the ending, but there's like one part, I think it was during like the fight scene that they have. Like it ends, like it pans in on a circle. I was like, they don't do stuff like that in the show. But it was so funny. It was just the way that it ended. And it's just like, come on, like what's happening? Like we're screwed. And, by the end, it's like, all right, well, we're kind of normal, which could be fine for most people who live normal lives, not people who die a couple of times or get possessed a few times or have to fight God at all. So it'll be fun to see how they kind of go through this process of kind of getting back on track to be themselves, which I guess is seemingly normal, but is in fact heroic and, main character status. So I'm looking forward to that. I know the next episode is them like at a pool hall, so I'm curious how much of that episode is going to be like this one, where it's like, now that they're kind of getting into it, it's technically a part of the main story, but this was like the funnier side of it, so that might be the more serious side, even though the promo, once again, seemed like it was a funny episode. So I'm curious how, what the balance is going to be as far as like filler content versus, story progression. But this one was definitely entertaining, even without it actually having, true story content. Like, Sam drinking the cayenne pepper, remedy for him being sick and stuff. Super funny. I was like, it can't be that spicy. Like, how much cayenne pepper is it? Like, if it's that spicy, you taste it as soon as you drink it. Like, it wouldn't be like, oh, what is that? It would be like, that's almost instant. You could smell that. If it was that much cayenne pepper, you'd have to smell it. But also, he was sick, so I guess you wouldn't be able to smell it or taste it because those two things are linked. So it does kind of work, but that was funny. Dean having like, he has 1 trillion cavities, which I thought was super funny. It's like, I've never really been to the dentist, and it's like, well, all you do is like eat unhealthy food and poof, you get cavities. So that made sense. But I like the episode for that. Like, they do point out a lot of the stuff that they go through or don't really have to go through because they're, they were always the Winchesters. They're like way up here and way off to the side. That's Sam and Dean. And then everyone else is kind of like over here, just kind of wrapped up in that world. That's why if they die, they end up coming back somehow. Most people don't. Fortunately, in a very rare case, like we recently had that happen, but in most cases, people don't end up coming back. Like, it's just an unfortunate moment. They die, and then they're gone. And Sam and Dean have to kind of just move on to the next mission without them. And that's just kind of the story of the show. Is like, they just lose people. But this is definitely a funny episode. Like, them going to the, like the fight ring, and Dean having all those grilled cheese sandwiches, so he has to vomit. He gets captured. We don't even see Sam get captured. It's just off screen. He's busted. Garth comes in and has like the big hero moment, and he's dropping all the C4 and he blows up the place. And so of course they still have to deal with like the main werewolf or vamp. And it's the funniest freaking fight. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, it was almost like they were in slow motion. Like, and I mentioned this during like my live reaction, which hopefully will be out soon. Hopefully I'll be able to kind of put that out fairly soon for you guys. But in that, I was like, man, the fight that they have in this episode is like, it's just them versus one person. That same amount of time, they beat up so many people. Like, we've seen it 1 trillion times where they just, plow through people. And not even with guns. Sometimes they do. But more often than not, when they beat like a ton of people, it's actually hand-to-hand combat. Like, they might stab somebody, but it's very rarely, because that's typically the point of the show, is like, they always have their guns. They'll shoot a couple of things here and there in the beginning, and then there's always like the actual fight, where it's like, oh, we got a gun on you. Someone kicks the gun out of their way, or, something happens, nobody has a gun, and everybody's just wrestling and fighting. That's typically how it goes. And in this case, it was just one person, and they just could not take this dude down at all. And it was just like, man, the way that this is going out, like Sam's throwing these punches and the guy's just dodging them easy like it's nothing. Dean getting kicked in the nuts and stuff like that. The face he made was hilarious. Garth even got taken out in like one hit. I didn't expect it to be one hit. I was like, I figured, because I knew that they'd have to fight. I didn't think he was going to get taken down in literally one hit. Like the guy just swung and knocked him into the truck, and then he was unconscious, and it was just Sam and Dean getting destroyed for what felt like an eternity. And it was just so funny to watch. I was like, wow, this sucks for them. And it reminded me of them fighting the Angels, where it was like, they kind of reference like, man, what the F is happening? We're just getting destroyed here. And it's just like, okay. Or the demons. I don't know why I always every time I think of that scene, I always think of those women as angels. Maybe, I guess the angels are just that bad. I just always think anyone in a suit who's a douchebag is an angel, but those were demons. But, they got beat up by them. And that was kind of the joke, was like, they're just getting destroyed here. And then that was this whole episode. Everything they tried to do just didn't work. They're tripping, they're getting tickets, the car is messing up, so they have to walk like 15 miles or something insane like that. Getting cavities and getting sick, little stuff like that. And it was just entertaining to watch them kind of go through this process and try to do a normal case. Because it's like, even if we're normal, we can't just give up. Like, that defeats the purpose of like our whole life's mission. Like, that's what we've always done. That's what we'll always do. So it's like, we have to still go. And they take all the extra weapons and everything. And ultimately what took them down was they got split up because Dean was eating 7 grilled cheese sandwiches in the car. And so he had to go vomit. And so Sam was by himself. And they both got caught that way. So it was just a funny episode. Definitely entertaining. It was great to see Garth. I love the joke with his kids, where his one kid is Sam, and then Dean's like, so that must be, and he's like, Castiel, and it's like, that's gotta hurt a little bit. It's like, he definitely went with Sam. And he did mention, like, you saved my life, and stuff like that. So it was like, okay, I guess Cass is just cooler. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Immediately, Cass is my favorite, out of the trio. I do personally just like Cass the most. I found him the most entertaining character. But yeah, that's just gotta hurt, like, just a little bit. It was like, oh, okay, so my brother, so that's gotta be me, Sam and Dean. It's like, it's Castiel. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I don't mean anything then. And it was just a funny moment. So I really enjoyed the episode. I feel like considering it was definitely a filler episode and it was mostly a funny episode, there's not a million things to really say about it. It was just like, yeah, it's a cool episode. Garth is doing great. I'm glad he didn't die. That's for sure. Because they did the classic thing. It's like, well, we're still going to go on this mission. He's like, well, I'll go with you. Every time anyone ever says that, I'm always worried, especially now it's the final season. I'm just like, I just assume everyone's going to die. But it was fine. He even went, once he was like, I called you guys, you didn't answer. And he goes in, he has the hero moment. And even says early on, it's like, being the hero kind of sucks. Like, you go through a bunch of crap, like, until you get that great, heroic ending where it's like, everything's finally peaceful. Their journey up to that is just a bunch of BS and loss. And it was like, yeah, that's supernatural. That is true. Like, they fight and fight and fight. And who knows what the actual ending is going to end up being. But until they get there, it's just tough. It's them now freaking out that they're too normal to beat God, which is insane in itself, So it's just a crazy journey that they have to go through. And he's like, who wants to be the hero? Like, that sucks. He got out of it and he settled down, probably in a way that he didn't expect, considering he got turned into a werewolf. But he's got a family, he's got 3 kids, he's got a brother-in-law who says he falls down the stairs, which, if you guys watch my live reaction, I died from that. Like, I don't know why, but like, he was so beat up and he was just like, I fell down the stairs. I don't know why that got me so bad. Like, it made me laugh so hard. So you guys can check that out if you're interested once that's up. But that was super funny to me. But I really did enjoy the episode. It's good to see Garth. I assume this will be the last time he'll show up. They might do a thing where everyone who's alive comes in for something. I don't know. That would be really cool, because I feel like there are quite a few of the characters that, like, haven't met Garth, especially considering we have some people coming from, like, other dimensions and stuff now. But I would love to see some of the characters come back and, they have, like, that final moment where everyone's there in the, very last episode, or, last couple of episodes or whatever. So that would be cool. But Garth's doing good. He's got kids. He's got, like, the ultimate dental practice where every werewolf ever has to come to him. So he's super rich. Like, and I realized that, like, looking at his house, I was like, he's got a great house. He's got, like, the giant driveway and everything. They've got tons of money. Like, he's living it up. He's living the life right now. And he's got kids and a little dental practice. He even went back to college and everything after settling down. I was like, man, Garth has it great right now. And they're trying to figure out how the F do we even drive a car because the spark plugs go off and he's sick. I got cavities and they're just dealing with normal crap. They have to pay the bills now, and it's just funny. It was a good episode to bring it up. So I am curious what they're gonna lean on from this in the next episode, and I'm assuming they won't stick with this for too long. But it would be interesting if they did, if they actually used it, because this was obviously like comedic, but they could really make it dramatic if they wanted to. Whereas like things really do just keep going wrong for them. Like they have the normal issues, like they can't go through the normal motions of fighting because they'll trip or just anything will happen, and people die with them normally as a part of the story. So they can't really have too many people around. But looking forward to the next episode. Of course, we'll love to know what you guys thought about it, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, least favorite parts about it. And with everything that they've done in this specific episode, I would love to know your favorite funny moment, because they had some good stuff. Dean getting kicked in the nuts was really good. Like his face, because they already showed that specific part where he's talking in the trailer, so that made me laugh when I saw the trailer. But the face he makes when he gets kicked in the nuts really cracked me up. Like that, the falling down the stairs thing, that wasn't meant to be that funny. I don't know why it hit me that hard, but for some reason, it just got me, because I was like, he's so messed up, and he was like, I fell down the stairs, and I was like, it was just so ridiculous, and he was so stone-faced about it, just like, fell down the stairs. And him talking to Sam where it's like, the puppy dog stare, he's like, that doesn't actually work for you, does it? And that was a pretty good callback. I was laughing so hard I kind of missed that, but I did hear him say it. But that was a good one. I thought that was pretty funny. And another really good moment was actually when Dean and Sam were having like their inspirational moment to try to be like, all right, even if we're normal, we're going to get through this because, we're Sam and Dean, like we are the Winchesters, we'll get through this. And they were playing their theme music, but it was like a weird version of it. It was almost like a weird southern like twang on it, and it didn't sound great, and it was just like, it just sounds weird, like it was off. It was clearly on purpose, but I was like, that was a cool touch. Like it was just a random thing where it was like, this is their hero speech, but it's kind of downgraded, so the music isn't as good, and it's their theme, but it's not like it normally is, and it's like a little off, and it's like, it's not bad, but it's just like, you can tell it's like someone needed to practice a little bit more to make it sound like it normally does. And I was like, that was a really cool touch that they certainly didn't need to even consider, putting into the episode. But I was like, that's pretty sweet. So I love that moment just because I thought that was a cool little bit of attention to detail. But all in all, like I said, definitely a funny episode. Definitely want to know what you guys thought about it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.